Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gaming Daddy channel. So today's video is going to be addressing Tom Clancy's The Division 2 in 2020, basically September 2020, if it's actually worth it. Now, I made a video like this a few months ago, and the video has received a lot of criticism because I wasn't really direct and clear in my approach on talking about why some people should come to the game. And I think what my mistake was that I directed that video pretty much to a lot of the old player base, people who had dropped the game and gone. And so that discussion was kind of targeted to them rather than maybe new people who wanted to play the game. Now, what I'm going to also do in this video is I'm going to try and hone down to be a little bit more specific and talk about the game from the perspective of a PC player. I apologize, Xbox and PlayStation 4. I have not played the game long enough on these platforms, so I'm not going to be able to give you the challenges if you're coming in on that level. But if you're a PC player and you're wanting to come into this game and you're looking at the price point, you're looking at basically the best third-person RPG looter shooter on PC till date. If you have any other third-person RPG shooter, that's out there that's set in a realistic world, it's going to pale in the face of Tom Clancy's The Division as it stands right now. And even what makes it really cool is the price point. The price point for the regular game is $9.90. Even I think in the next few days from when I'm making this video, you can actually play the game for free, and if you wish, you can purchase and your progress will carry over. If you want to buy the game with the DLC edition, right now the price is $19.80. Right now, what you're seeing is hundreds or even thousands of hours worth of gaming on an RPG looter shooter, one of the best that you've actually set your eyes on for a price under $20. Now, one really interesting thing about Tom Clancy's The Division 2 is it has a lot of issues, but those issues are isolated to the kind of game that it is, which leads me into saying what kind of game it is. Tom Clancy's The Division 2 is a looter shooter. It's an RPG-esque type of looter shooter that has a lot of intricacies that come with it. The gear, the weapons, the skills all play into your character to make you a better agent, but this actually happens by you leveling up and farming, basically doing missions, taking down bad guys, opening chests and caches that are available over the world. Some of them have keys, some of them are without keys, doing activities or whatever it is you are doing in order for you to be able to attain loot. And the loot is pretty much, relegated to all these things. So when you're in this game, your main goal is to start to level up in the progression. So if you buy the Warlords of New York edition, you have a boost package, I think, that comes with it. This package can level you up from level 2 all the way through level 30 instantly, or you can go the old route and, basically work your way up from level 1 through level 30, play the story campaign, get used to the mechanics, and understand what the game actually is about. You can choose either of these two, but if you buy the standard edition, you're going to be basically having to level up yourself unless you go pay for the booster separately. So this is kind of the intricate aspect that you need to know. And then once you actually get through, the level 30, you have to then grind your way through level 40 in another map called Warlords of New York. And you're going to see that the price points on Uplay show a standard and a Warlords of New York edition, which basically allows for you to be able to then play this level 30 through level 40, session. And it's set up in a different map in New York City, and you're just going to also be farming gear and getting your agent to level 40 and all of that good stuff. So when you start to put together all of these different elements, when you start to think about, the activities that this game has, or I will call it like, the amount of content, let's use the word content, you start to see that, with over 20 plus missions to level up, 2 raids, 3 extra, missions basically on the side that were added. And then you also even have, what the expansion that comes with it and a new mode that's just been added. You see that there's a lot of value for you. Now, another thing too, as somebody who's looking at this and wanting to purchase this game from the perspective of a PC player, this game has some of the best performance that you will find if your machine is able to to run it. Now, most likely, I think many PC players will be able to run this game without any hassles. And the interesting thing is, on the different machines that I've played the Division 2 on, I think there was only one machine that had a little bit of a squabble, and that was like a cheap gaming laptop compared to what's available on the market right now. But at some point, I think the developers went ahead and optimized the game with NVIDIA drivers, and that, now the game is actually playing at 60 frames per second on a gaming laptop that has, the mobile 1060. So that's kind of the base level I would judge by. Anything else that's on a desktop, an i3, an i5, an i7, AMDs from the new generation anyways, even the FX, AMDs, as old as they are, will still be able to play this game. Now, yes, their performance may not be the greatest, but you're still going to be getting a very good game out of it. Another aspect of the game is basically something about bugs and patches and fixes. Now, one thing about this game is the game can get buggy on PC, but it's very minimal. Now, one of the big reasons too that I actually negated talking about the console versions of this game is because there seems to have crept up, after some of the updates more recently, a lot more bugs on especially the PlayStation. After Warlords of New York, PlayStation really got a huge hit with a lot of bugs cropping up a lot. And I don't know if it's because of the machine. I don't know if it's because of PlayStation's base operating system. And, regardless of what it is, it's the job of the developers to have streamlined and optimized the game for that console. On Xbox, nonetheless, a lot of people, more people actually, will tell me, and we have these discussions, that the performance on Xbox is actually better. And perhaps maybe because Xbox is running straight up Windows, this game is able to run on there. And so, back to the PC performance and bugs anyways. Right now with the new Summit mode that's been released, there's kind of a looping screen bug that's shown up even on console and on PC. And some people can't even get into the content. The developers are working on some patch to fix it, and it's kind of aggravating for a lot of them. So beware of something like that, which you can find in the game, but there is no perfect game. There are Tuesday patch fixes that are deployed. Here in the game, every Tuesday they do some bug fixes and all that stuff, but generally this is one of the best experiences that you're going to have for a game. And then disconnection issues, these are some of the most aggravating and annoying that can hit you if you're playing on PC. You could just get disconnected from the game. Maybe there's like an internet or a network issue because you're playing with players all over the world, so there might be a server lag or something, and the game does not have enough. I don't know what it is, but you could just get kicked out of a game mode or a match mode. Now, the thing about that is when you log back in, you can still continue your session depending on the situation. But I would say there are very few situations where you get kicked out and you come back and you can't continue. So that's something that you probably need to know as a disclosure if you're going to be coming to play this game on PC. And there's also a very lively player base that exists right now on PC. Now, I know if you're scrubbing through the YouTubes, you're going to see a lot of videos talking about the game is dead. I usually from time to time make videos to kind of push against that narrative, and I get a lot of responses that are not favorable nonetheless, but that's because a lot of people have different feelings and different ideas as to what the player base looks like. But when you come on PC, the matchmaking is very fluid for most of the content, and pretty much almost all the content except the raids, then their main modes anyways. And you can actually just hit the matchmake button and you might find somebody depending on the level you're playing on. So that Warlords of New York edition will be my recommendation because it can speed run you from level 1 through level 30. But if you really want to get your money's worth, you can play through level 1 through 30 and then play 30 through 40, and then your second, third, and fourth characters, because you can have up to 4 characters on an account. You can use those and just boost them all to level 30 and then play level 40's campaign, which takes a few hours. So right now, what you're sitting at in Tom Clancy's The Division is a potentially 1,000 hour game where if you like the game, you will spend more than 1,000 hours. If you finally, see that you don't like the game, then you're out a total of $20 for a game that basically is powering the playing of a bunch of people as we speak. Because think about it, there were all these delays that happened this year. And, with different video games, and games like Cyberpunk are still going to be out there in November. And so within the month, this is something that you can actually enjoy playing. Except you already have other games on your menu, then you're not going to be bothered by this game. But as it stands, Tom Clancy's The Division 2 is the best third-person RPG looter shooter set in a realistic world that's featuring 2 cities in almost a one-to-one representation on them. I mean, it's an Ubisoft game. You've played these games. They just build the cities like they're real life. And, you have cover mechanics that are kind of some of the best also in the industry. Somebody was telling me the other day that they're playing Mafia, one of my huge, audience members that's been here since forever. He said, I'm playing Mafia, the definitive edition, and it makes me appreciate Division 2's cover mechanics. I think this game has one of the best cover mechanics that's out there. Some people find it really weird, though. I've had a friend actually complain about it, but he doesn't play the Division. But when I showed him, he was like, yuck, I don't like these cover mechanics. And I was like, well, you're more of a Call of Duty kind of guy where it's fast-paced and all that stuff. So I hope I've been able to give you a little bit, just a very little bit of what the Division 2 has to offer in this video. I could talk about the gear and all the other stuff, but I would just say you have to experience it for yourself. There's so much and so many numbers to keep you busy. Inventory management will probably also be a huge portion of your time because, you're going to be sorting out gear, picking and choosing, making decisions based on best drops and all that stuff. But nonetheless, it's a fun game. But I'll still recommend you have to experience it for yourself. So if at anything and you're watching this video right now, you can always try the game for free. That way you kind of see what it's about. And if you like it, you can make that decision. And if you don't like it, then, you only just have to spend your time investigating. Anyways, that's it for me. I'll talk to you guys hopefully in another video. If you're, still left with any questions, leave them in the comment section. We'll still continue this conversation. I don't like my videos dragging out too long, to be honest. And, I'm just trying my best to give you something off the top of my head that you can kind of start with in terms of this game. Talk to you later. Peace.